Perfect. Perfect.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is about my vintage t-shirt collection. I've loved collecting vintage t-shirts for a while now. I lived in New Jersey for a long time, so I would go into the city to some of my favorite places in the city, and a lot of these are from there. A lot of these have just been collected over like my travels. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first one I'll talk about is this Rolling Stones tee. Let's see, it's a single stitch tee. Let's see, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Single stitch tee from, I honestly have no idea. The back of it is pretty sick. There's like the classic Rolling Stones tongue graphic, Rolling Stone up here. Has a bunch of rips here, but I kind of like that. Yeah, this graphic is super faded, super cool. I love this front graphic. It's like definitely one of my most worn tees. With a lot of my t-shirts, I honestly wear them inside out for the most part. So I'll kind of give you like the lowdown on that. What I do is just I turn them inside out, and I like to wear them just kind of as blanks, even though a lot of these, the graphics are super sick. But I just think the inside out stitching is a cool contrast between kind of the fade of the t-shirt, like the natural fade of the t-shirt, and like what it used to be. As you can see, this definitely used to be a very black t-shirt, and it's kind of faded over to like a blue-gray over time. But yeah, so I'll kind of show you what this looks like on.
Perfect. Perfect.
Next is this Bush t-shirt. This Bush is kind of like a prog rock. I don't even know. I'm not super into them, but they're definitely kind of a harder rock band from the 80s and 90s. I got this at Round 2 in Richmond, Virginia, the original Round 2 store, if anyone's familiar with that. Round 2 is a super cool vintage and streetwear store that kind of does consignment. But anyway, so yeah, I got this right there. That's kind of the album cover, if you know any of their albums. That's the album cover of this specific one. It has all the tour dates on the back. Super sick. Yeah, I get my t-shirts tailored to 26 inches lengthwise, and I find that fits me pretty well. I would definitely suggest, if you're doing a lot of vintage shopping, don't fret over if you find a super sick tee. I wouldn't like worry too much if like it's super long or something like that. You can always go to a tailor, and you can always make it exactly what you want to be. So yeah, this one, super sick Bush t-shirt. This one was pretty long, and I had to cut I would say 3 or 4 inches off of it, but definitely one of my favorite tees. I'll show you what this one looks like on. All right, next one is a recent pickup. This one is Harley Davidson cutoff tee. So I don't know how old it is or anything like that. I don't think that, oh, okay, wait. So here's the back graphic. Santa Barbara, 2004, which I guess now is coming up on vintage. Vintage is technically 20 years. So in a year, this will be vintage, technically. But I really like this graphic. I love the simplicity of the yellow. Harley Davidson motorcycles, yeah, super sick. I wanted some t-shirts for the summer, and I feel like the cutoff tee is super in for me right now, so I really like it. I haven't gotten this one tailored at all. I find the longer length works with this, so yeah, let me know if you like it. This next one is one of my favorites. I got this one pretty recently as well. I got this one at Buffalo Exchange here in Nashville. So it was definitely a sick find. I don't usually find too many great tees at Alcohol Exchange. They definitely tend to take almost anything that's single stitch or vintage, but it usually doesn't end up being too good. It's usually like it's usually a high school t-shirt or kind of like a track and field t-shirt, which usually those don't really end up being my cup of tea. I like more of the band stuff. Eric Clapton t-shirt, this graphic I really like. It works with a lot of outfits. The blue kind of goes with a lot, but yeah, I love Eric Clapton too. His music's super soothing. So, and the back says, "An evening of nothing but the blues." So, I haven't gotten this one tailored either. The length doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, this is probably early 2000s, I would say. Nothing too crazy, but I think it's a super sick fade and definitely looks really cool. So, yeah, on to the next. So this next one is a Harley Davidson tee that I also haven't gotten tailored yet, but I kind of want to, even though the length is kind of cool on this one. But this is definitely one of my favorite Harley tees. I got this at a vintage pop-up in Lynchburg, Virginia, which is where my college was. It was just some college vendor who was selling his vintage stuff. And that area is really cool. But I thought this was a super sick find with the glasses and like this all over print. And then the back is just a classic Harley print, which is super sick. So this is from 1996, if you can see that. This fade is definitely one of my favorites. I end up wearing this one inside out most of the time, just because I always find myself wanting the basic fading. So this is definitely probably my most worn tee of all time. I always turn it inside out and just rock it like that. So yeah. And all of these, like, I probably could have, I don't know what the tags are on a lot of these. I know for a lot of vintage t-shirt guys, the tags mean a lot, but I don't know. Like, I just rip them all off because I always end up wearing them inside out anyway. So yeah, I'll show you what this looks like on. Next is one of my most valuable, probably, t-shirts outside of maybe the Stones tee. But this is I got this one in New York City at a store called Metropolis. If you ever go to New York City, definitely hit up Metropolis. It's kind of just north of Soho, so it's a cool spot to hit up if you're shopping in that area. But it has the sickest fade on it. This is a vintage Rush tee, 2002, so it's not single stitch or anything. But this was just worn to shreds, and I love that in a vintage tee. Tons of distressing all throughout this piece. This armpit needs a repair, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But the only thing I don't like about this is the neck's super wide. I'll show you what this looks like on, but I don't wear this one too much anymore, but I definitely wore this one inside out a lot. But it's a super boxy, super cool. This back hit is really sick too with the tour dates. If you're into Rush, this is a sick piece. This next one is definitely not an original. I wish it was, but I don't think anyone would do anything like this to an original. This is a Pearl Jam tee from, I'm not super into Pearl Jam, so I don't really know too much about their stuff. But someone just dip dyed this, just really super sick. I got it off of Grailed, but I tailored this one as well. There's some details of this. There's a hole there, so I got this kind of repaired right there. This is what the front looks like. And the back looks like this. Window pane at the top, which is, I'm guessing, the album. Again, I don't really know too much about Pearl Jam. This is one that I didn't take the tag off. It's a Jerseys XL. It definitely fits like an XL, and I don't think it's an original, but it would be sick if it was. I got this one at, where did I get this? I got this one at Round 2 in Hollywood, California, which, I don't know, I saw it and I was like, man, I really wanted to get a tie-dye tee at the time, and this is definitely one that I thought was sick. This Bob Dylan was just absolutely amazing. I love the way that this looks, this front graphic. And then this back graphic is super sick as well. It's not original or potentially old or anything like that. It is a double stitch, but I do think single stitch is a little bit overrated because I do find a lot of really sick tees that have a really good, a good feeling about them. You know, something that was just super washed in, super worn in. I do find a lot that are double stitch, so single stitch is not the end all be all, but it's a good rule of thumb if you're searching for some old vintage tees. If you want something original and it's single stitch, usually you're in good hands with it. With something that's a little bit more valuable than maybe something that's a dupe. But this one is one of my favorites. Great summer t-shirt for sure. But I'll show you what this looks like on. So this one is my most recent pickup. It is a U2 tee from 1997, it says. I'll show you the back. U2 1997 from their Pop album, I believe, which I haven't listened to that much, but I love some of their older stuff, so I'll probably take a listen to this one. But super sick. This is definitely oversized on me, probably a little too oversized, but it's a single stitch tee. I saw it and I like U2, so I felt like this is might as well grab this one. I don't have any green tees, so yeah, I really like this one. This is definitely one that I'm gonna keep and I'm just kind of wear as a kind of a cozy tee. So I'll show you what this one looks like on. So I got this one at a vendor here in Nashville. I think the vendor is called Madelo Clothing, which is actually a brick and mortar here in Nashville, which is pretty cool. So if you're in the area, definitely hit up Madelo Clothing. And I'll probably do like a video pretty soon of a vintage shopping video where I go around and just, you know, do some shopping and hit up some of the stores. So I'll show you guys that place. But this was from their pop-up on 12 South, if anyone's familiar with Nashville. It's just kind of like a surf classic tee. I'm sure this is from like the 80s or something. I don't know. So this is from 1988. I love that graphic. It's super sick. Classic surf competition. The color is really cool on me, and it's really rare to find something this old that fits on me because I'm 6 foot and I guess like a normal build, but you know, a lot of t-shirts shrink when they're that old. This one has definitely stayed true to either its original. It's tagged in XL, I believe. Screen Stars Best XL, which like Screen Stars, I don't think are that good at t-shirts, but this one's held up. So this one's pretty cool. I'll show you what this one looks like on. So this one is my most worn white t-shirt, which I think I showed off in the last video. Just kind of with my first outfit, I believe. But I absolutely adore this t-shirt. It's from 2005, Myrtle Beach Bike Week t-shirt. This one just fits me so well. This is the fit that I'm looking for when I'm looking for a vintage t-shirt. I believe it's 21 inches by 26 inches. Always know your measurements, because whenever you're at a thrift pop-up or something like that, where you can't try on something, it's just outdoors or something, you always want to know your measurements, so you could just ask for a tape measure and know if it'll fit you or not. So that's kind of what I always look for, is a 21 by 26 or something around that range. I know if it's around that range, I'm gonna be good. So yeah, this is my favorite white t-shirt. This little kind of pocket, but without the pocket graphic right there. And then that back graphic that I showed off in the last video. But I'll show you what this looks like on as well. And then last but not least is this vintage Jesus tee. I got this one at Round 2 in Hollywood, and I saw it at the same time I actually got the Bob Dylan t-shirt. But I saw it and I said, man, that is super sick. I always wanted a vintage tee that had like a red graphic on it, like a white vintage tee. So I saw this one and I said, wow, this is like perfect. It shows off what I believe in and just my faith in Jesus as my one true savior. And yeah, I couldn't be more proud when I'm wearing this. So the one thing about it is that the graphic is a little bit off center, which just the way it was printed, it's just a fluky little thing, which is fine. It's just kind of a funny thing. But this is a single stitch tee as well. I don't know when it's from. Sometime in the 90s or maybe earlier. So I'll show you what this one looks like on too.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
I forgot to show you the t-shirt that I was wearing throughout the video. I was wearing this inside out. It is just a Harley Davidson t-shirt. I think I got it off of Poshmark, I believe. Like, I got it for like 10 bucks. But super sick. I really like it. It's not vintage, like super vintage or anything. I think it's maybe 2000s. It's from Las Vegas. But yeah, I like it a lot. This is definitely a pretty worn tee of mine. So yeah. Thanks for sticking by and seeing my vintage t-shirt collection. I think vintage t-shirts are super sick collector's item because they usually hold up really well. They have some pretty sick graphics and they're super nostalgic. So yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in and I'll see you guys next time.